Hey everyone, this is Ryan with From Corners Unknown. I hope you're all doing well. A couple weeks ago, I had the pleasure of speaking with Paul Lopez. You may know him under a couple different guises. He has a shoegaze project by the name of Angel Falls, and he also has this experimental shoegaze dark ambient project named Sana Obruent. He also runs the Shoegaze Collective, which has a radio show a couple times a week on DKFM radio. I first came across Paul's music under Sana Obruent, and I was introduced to his music by Alexander Donat, who helms Blackjack Illuminous Records, which is based in Germany. And his release August was this deeply moving and just profoundly emotional record. And I ended up writing a review about it after I listened to it a multitude of times. So it was quite an honor to be able to speak with Paul about this record and a bunch of the other music he's produced over his lifetime so far. In this conversation, I try and go back as far as possible with Paul to kind of talk about his musical endeavors from his first shoegaze project that I'm aware of by the name of Spell 336, which only saw one self-titled release, and also going back as far as his speed metal, thrash metal days under the name of Scalpel, where he and a group of guys were playing Slayer covers and Creator covers and just playing some awesome old school thrash metal. There's a lot of really great conversation and discussion about his music here, and I hope you enjoy learning more about Paul and his music. And yeah, I thank you very much for your continued support, and thank you for any support you can give Paul, the Shoegaze Collective, and his respective music projects. After this introduction, I'll play one of his Spell 336 track, Silence, which is a really beautiful shoegaze composition. And at the end of this conversation, I will play a track off of his August album. So I hope you enjoy this conversation, and thank you again for your support.
Too much silence with the pain that makes me cry. This flame which burns brings sadness in this life. Too much silence with a pain that makes me cry. This flame which burns brings sadness in this life. This flame which burns brings sadness in this
So what is I mean, I don't even really know where to begin. How about going back? Could you just maybe take me back as far as you can remember with respect to when you started your musical endeavors? You know, the instruments you played and your first experiences with music?
Um, well, kind of, I'm a drummer. That's my main instrument. I'm self-taught. I've been playing since the age of 10,
Okay.
around like 1979. It's a ways back, and
Wow.
I was exposed to a lot of music, especially with, through my family, my parents, uncles, and their tastes were so eclectic. They heard everything, and I just absorbed everything. And
Sure.
I remember around that time, my parents found a leopard skin pearl drum set at a yard sale, and that's where I kind of cut my teeth.
Really?
Yeah, playing, and all the way to, and I, always enjoyed music, and then starting like in 1984 is when I kind of got into my first band. It was, we were like dual drummers of like the Doobie Brothers or the Grateful Dead or something like that.
I see.
We just did, just different 80s covers. I mean, 84, was like 15, 16, but,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, been playing drums since I was about 10, and then I taught myself how to play the guitar around 1991. I'm not a lead guitarist by any means. I'm just strictly rhythm, but
I see.
I've been playing for quite a while, and self-taught with that. And then, a little bit before that, to jump back a couple of years, is when I started playing like drums for some speed metal thrash bands that were
That's right. That's right.
around at the time. And I always had a love for like shoegaze music, different things, but I'm sorry, I love Slayer and different bands
Yeah,
like that, and Celtic Frost Corner, all these bands. I mean, we did all their stuff, all these covers, but
I see.
um, and then right around that time, the band kind of started to splinter, and that's when I kind of got back into shoegaze, which basically leads us, to where we are today.
I see.
Basically,
I see. Since I'm a metalhead
yeah.
at heart, what was the when the group splintered? What was how come you never really fell back into that? Was it just kind of a phase and you just kind of grew out of harsher music?
Oh no, no, no way, not at all.
Okay.
I've, I mean, I still love that music, to
Hmm.
this day, but um, I don't know why I really didn't go back to it. I mean, a lot of the bands at the time, this is like 1988, 1991, around there, and everybody was just hair metal, wearing the spandex, and
Yeah,
there was only like one or two of us that were actually doing thrash or speed metal, and
I see.
um, um, the funny thing is that right about the time when the band was about, to break up, when our guitarist had joined the Marines and our bass player had split to Seattle. But
Mm.
believe it or not, around that time, we were kind of more or less being courted by Metal Blade Records.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Huh.
and it was between us and a band from the Bay Area in San Francisco, a band that called themselves Epidemic, and
Okay.
they it was between us and them, and they signed Epidemic, and I think it's because the band broke up, but right around that time when Metal Blade was knocking on our door, there was a label from France who wanted to put out our second demo when we called ourselves Scalpel, and
That's right. Okay.
we let the label out in France put it out, and then but the band still broke up anyway. But
Okay.
um, the Metal Blade thing was kind of intense for a while, and it might have went our way, but like I said, one guy just he wanted to join the Marines, and the other bass player, and this is right about the time of grunge, you know what I mean? So he split to Seattle and thought he'd be in another Nirvana or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, of
But
course. Of
it
course.
it it didn't happen. So he moved back to the area, and he now sings for a speed metal band,
Huh.
and
Interesting.
uh, and the guitarist did finish the service. The funny thing is with that is he became a police officer, and around the same time, so did I.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
so
And
it was
is
nuts.
yeah. So is that your current day job as well? The police, being a police officer?
Nah, I am retired.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I'm so
No, no,
oblivious with
no.
respect to this age gap.
Oh
I
no, no. I was I was an officer for about 15 years. My dad was a police officer for well over 40 years, and he retired as a chief of police. And when he retired, I went with him. I just got burnt out after 14, 15 years of doing it. It just too crazy out there, so I just said enough. And
yeah.
with our department, they give you a little bit of retirement. You're not rich, but you pay the bills.
Sure. 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 And when was that? When did you step out of that? Did that give you more time to focus on your musical endeavors as well?
Yeah, especially I got out of it in 2007,
Okay.
and yeah, and then but I always loved music. I always wanted to do something, but after 2007 until now, that's when I decided I'm just going to do everything, full tilt and go all the way, and that's what I wanted to do. And around that time, everybody was using MySpace,
Yeah.
and
I remember those. I
yeah,
remember MySpace for just a little sliver of a second. I was on that, but I don't remember any of it anymore. Um,
yeah, that's where I kind of posted some of the shoegaze stuff, and
oh,
that's where
cool.
I had posted some of the thrash metal that the band I was with did. I made a couple of pages,
Nice. Okay.
and then from there, just especially with the shoegaze thing, it just kind of took off on its own. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that leads us to where we are today with all the things that I'm juggling.
Sure. No, yeah. So let's, I guess, so just staying kind of a little deeper in the past for right now. Your first shoegaze project was Spell 336. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
And you just had the one record you put out under that, the self-titled, and is that all you produced under that?
That was it.
Okay. Okay.
The the partner in my band, there were just two of us. I actually went to high school with him, and we were together in our first band. But years later, we connected and we did the Spell 336 thing, and it lasted a couple of years. And like I said, we recorded a bunch of tracks at a couple different studios, and then I've got all the tapes. I compiled everything and
I
and
see.
uh, I put it on like on a Bandcamp page. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, it kind of ran its course. I mean,
So what? So I guess this may be a question that's better later on, but why shoegaze of all? You did the thrash metal thing, but why'd you land on shoegaze?
um, I think I was like 12 or 13.
Hmm.
My local library at the time, they had, back these days, everybody, they had vinyl. You can check all kinds of things out. I remember I saw a Cocteau Twins album on the 4AD record label. So I took it, and I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13 or so. And I was cool about the way the label looked, the way the record looked. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and so I listened to it. And then a couple years later, I got into it more. But around that time, even while, when I was doing the speed metal thing, I still loved, shoegaze stuff. But,
Okay.
I just, in a way I miss the speed metal thing. But, um, there's just not anybody I could really hook up with in terms of musicians. I mean, the guys I used to play with, there was talk of us getting back together just to maybe do some shows or
Sure.
put something out. But like I said, I always liked shoegaze. I was always into that type of music, and then around that time, I just
Okay.
decided, let's just do something, and I wrote all the songs and Spell 336, and with 336, we only played one live show. That was in
Oh, huh.
yeah, well, it was in San Francisco. But here's the funny thing:
Hmm.
the rap legend out of New York, guy called Curtis Blow. He opened the show for us while we opened the show for the late Greg Allman that night.
Oh, wow. Jesus. Really?
True story, man. True
Oh my
story.
gosh. Did that create like an insurmountable amount of pressure for you guys then?
Oh man, it was just like it was a benefit that celebrated pop culture for some, and they had it in San Francisco, one of these big hotels, and there was so many celebrities there, and
Wow.
I remember I bumped into Greg Allman in the bar, and when
Huh.
when we did the song "Silence" on stage,
Hmm.
it's an E chord, and after we did the song, I remember coming backstage, and he's like, "I think you stole that riff from my song Melissa." And I go, "No, that's not true," But he was being cool, But
Yeah.
it was a crazy night, but that's I just said, and then from that point on, Spell 336 never took the stage again from then until now.
Do you miss any of that or playing those songs live?
No,
No? Okay.
it's
Okay.
just because in the studio, when we did those songs, we layered them, with the effects, the reverb, the pedals. And it's really hard to try to duplicate that live. And when we played live, it was just an acoustic guitar and our electric guitar with some effects, but it didn't capture it. We were just one of those bands that did good in the studio, but on a live setting, it just didn't work.
Sure. Yeah, and that's something I'm not particularly. I wish I was more well versed in the world of shoegaze, but with my vague understanding of it, I do get the impression that from the bands I've heard that are deemed shoegaze, kind of getting that live setting or just the amount of pedal boards you really need to get the full effect is pretty
Oh,
difficult. Or I heard like
oh,
that's kind of like the essence of it, really.
yeah,
And that, I mean, that's kind of where they derive shoegaze from, right? Because people are always staring down at their feet, trying to make sure that they're getting everything set up for the. Is that right, or am I naive as hell?
you, no, you're right.
Yeah, so I could see how
You're right.
that I could see how that's really tough in a live setting, especially if it's just you and one other guy.
Yeah,
Um,
it was rough. I mean, now, the band I'm with, um, Angel Falls.
yes,
We did a live show, and when we played, it was just the two of us. So, but we had the laptops and the technology there to actually pull off a show, and it went okay. But it'd be better with a full band. But
yeah.
and we'll see what happens in the future.
So I guess before we get into some of your other projects, since you mentioned Angel Falls, that's just a two piece. I thought it was more of a full band, but I just recently started doing research on that project of yours. So that's just a two piece.
Yeah, that's just me on the drums. I write about uh, I write a majority of the lyrics, not all, but I do the lyrics, and that's me on drums. And
Okay.
my bandmate Dan, he's the one who handles the vocals, the guitars, has everything. We record everything. We send back tracks back and forth. I live in California, and he lives in Minnesota.
That was the one thing I noticed when you said I'm in this band Angel Falls, and I looked it up, and it said you record yourself somewhere in California, and then I saw Minnesota. I was like, what the hell is going on? How does that
Yeah,
work?
yeah. We
So
just we just we just bounce the tracks back and forth, and then I recently updated my studio. I got some Tascam stuff. I've got different, everything. That way I can make the recording easier. But he flew down the year before last when we had our first show, and
okay,
hopefully we'll have some more this year. But I've also been getting requests from different places about my dark ambient stuff. A lot of these people want me to play at their venues.
that's the Sana Obruent.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
That, yeah, the dark ambient
what it,
drum.
could you tell me what Sana Obruent translates to roughly? Because I don't trust Google's translation.
I used to speak a little Latin when I was a
Okay,
kid. Um, I'm kind of a fallen altar boy, and
okay, okay.
I learned things here and there. But Sana Obruent, basically in English, well, is Latin for drown in sound or drowned in sound. That's what it means.
Drown. Oh,
Sana.
okay. I had a feeling that okay, because I don't think Google Translate actually gave me that translation. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that's good to know.
And it can be interpreted as both, like drown in sound or drowned in sound. It's basically the same. But I thought that sent over and kind of sounded good. I'm not, not trying to be pig-headed or ego or anything. It kind of rolled off the tongue naturally. So I
Yeah,
said, keep it.
definitely.
I'm gonna keep it, and it seems to fit with what I'm doing.
Yeah, definitely. So on the Sana Obruent
Yes.
music, so I was so my jumping off point into this was your record August, which you released last August 2017. Um, but how? So just like I guess starting at the origin of that project, how did that project? Like, what was the impetus for creating it, or what was what was kind of like the moment where you just knew you needed to create this project?
Um, August was something I put together that actually was about a personal event that happened to me uh,
Hmm.
around 1983. Um, If you note in some of the liner notes, I dedicated it to somebody named PML. PML was my cousin. His name was Peter Michael Lopez, but I called him Mike. But
Yeah.
uh, um, long story short, we were really close. We were cousins, but we're kind of like brothers. And
Yeah.
uh, one late August afternoon, we hung out all day together, and he went home for the evening and ended up uh, with his other brothers, two brothers, going out to a neighboring town with his mother's ex boyfriend who was driving a vehicle drunk, and
Oh
he
no.
cra- he crashed the vehicle, and my two cousins, Mike's brothers, got hurt. Mike uh, was thrown through a windshield and landed in a ditch. Basically, too many head injuries. He was no brain function, and it it affected me because when his birthday was August 31st, 1970. My birthday is August 25th, 1969. So when he passed away, it was on the 23rd. We buried him on the 25th, my birthday. I was a pallbearer, and then the 31st was his birthday.
Huh.
And yeah, and it kind of it's just an event that's always bothered me because there were plans to where he might have stayed, hang out with me that night, and this probably would have never happened. And
Yeah.
it affected me from then until now. I think about the guy every day, and
Yeah.
I had these sounds in my head um, with August, and basically, it's about Michael, and it's the only way that I can describe it is trying to, tell a story about what happened, but at the same time, what you're hearing in August is what's going in my head when I think about what happened, the tragedy, how things could have been different, or what if, could have, should have, but
Yeah.
everything that I had felt for my cousin from then until now, I always had it. I needed to get it out, and I think I did. I hope I was successful. I don't know.
And I mean, like, I'm trying to think of the right way to ask this question. I mean, was the how was the writing process for it? Was it a very cathartic thing to like? Was it a very cathartic process to write and compose and put this music out into the world? Or
No, it was very, very uh, cathartic. I can't say that um, I let something go. I feel a little bit better. A little. I'm healed. No, I'm not. But it was cathartic. I had to put it out. And like I said, when I began recording the album, I always record late at night anyway, because to
oh,
me
do
that
you? Okay.
yeah, in early morning hours, that's the only way I can record. And putting together those tracks, not only like I said, it was what was in my head, but at the same time as I'm writing and doing all of that, I kind of liken it to like automatic writing. It was like taking, like it was doing it by itself. I can't explain it.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
that's the only thing that I've ever felt in terms of writing music for any bands or anything. Where August was just like it just came out on its own, and I translated it best I could. And at the end of the day, I'm happy because that is what I heard in my head. But it was very cathartic, and I was hoping that it would like alleviate some of the pressure or the sadness or guilt that I felt. But it's still there, but it's not as painful because of what I was able to get down on tape. But um, yeah, like I said, it just felt like maybe there was a ghost with me.
Yeah.
Automatic writing, just telling me what to do, and it translated. And I said I got to put it out and see what happens, and I did it. So yeah,
And you've been, I mean, and that's been getting some pretty, that's been received quite well, I believe, right?
yeah, I'm like I am. Not only am I humble and I'm grateful, but I'm just like blown away about the response
Yeah.
towards it. It caught me off guard because I put out the Dyatlov release before that one, and
Yes.
everybody's like, oh, Dyatlov was cool, and people are like, oh, that's your masterpiece. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, but then
Hmm.
August, they're just like, August, man, you knocked it out of the park. What did you do? And I was just like taken aback by it because I was just like, wow, and
Yeah.
it's people. I don't know. Maybe they can identify with it somehow. I don't know, but I mean, other than me putting in the liner notes, dedicated to my cousin, the actual story about August and why I wrote it and what motivated me to do it, I've really never told anybody.
Yeah.
So, telling you, and it's cool, man, telling you, it's like, awesome, man. But I mean,
Yeah.
the response for it is just, I'm still kind of in awe of it. I didn't expect it. I thought people were going to say this is just really dark and, but people are just like, I get messages and like, man, I love it. It's just, what does
Yeah.
it mean? I'm really humbled by it. I really am, man.
Yeah. No, and that's something that really I think drew me into your music so much when I listened to that, when I listened to August first off, just because, not irrespective of of that one liner note you left, I still found it just like profoundly moving in some strange way. It just felt so, I don't know. I wrote that review about it, and I can't remember all the words I wrote, but it definitely had this deep well of energy or feeling kind of protruding throughout, and I think you captured that amazingly well based on what you're telling me. I mean, when I realized what the liner notes were about, I mean that definitely
Yeah, I mean,
that made it more like it just drew me in closer to it, almost like it just felt more personal. I can't really describe it myself either. It's a very,
well, it's like when I write, whether it was Spell 336 or Angel Falls, um, when I write, I got to do it about something that's affected me or something that's happened to me or a friend or a family member. To me, that's the only way that I feel I can write. It has to be autobiographical to me.
yeah.
To me, if I write that way, it just seems more real and people can relate to it. I mean, quickly, a story a few years ago, I met a guy. Uh, I don't, I don't want to say who it is, but all I'm going to say he was in a very big band throughout the '70s, and he
Hmm.
played with a lot of people like, John Lennon and Paul McCartney at one time. And I remember telling him about this particular song. I go, man, I love that song. It's so great. The lyrics are great. And then he told me, well, you really want to know what that song is about? I'm like, yeah, what's it about? About hamburgers. What the fuck are you talking about? Hamburgers. I go, I thought you're talking about, you're mentioning a girl. And he goes, well, she was the one in the song who cooked the hamburgers, dude. So I was just like, from me, from that point on, I could never hear that song again the same way. It kind of ruined it for me. And I was
Yeah,
just like,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
yeah, it fucked it all up. So I was just like, well, when I write, like I said, it's gotta be personal, and it's like that with the lyrics in Angel Falls. Silence with Spell 326, that's autobiographical, and then with
yeah,
the Sana Obruent, that's all autobiographical. Every part of it.
yeah,
It has to be.
yeah. So kind of building upon the autobiographical bit. So when you wrote, so you had August, which is obviously, um, I mean, it's based on a life event. But when I, say I'm gonna botch this, Dyatlov, or the most recent release that was about the Mount Osutaka incident, the
Yeah.
plane flight incident. So how, when you make, like, what about those records is autobiographical for you in relation to, say, August?
Um, well, the newest release that I had recorded about the aircraft disaster.
Hmm.
For I've always studied plane crashes.
Okay.
Especially with being an ex-officer, I've seen a lot of things that weren't nice, and you can interpret that as you wish, whether it's finding somebody not alive or gone. I mean, I've seen a lot of things like that,
Okay.
and for a brief period of time, believe it or not, midway through my police career, I was getting tired of it. And I kind of wanted to get into the
Hmm.
trade of maybe becoming like an aircraft mechanic or different things. So I mean, I always was fascinated by airplane crashes or what happened, what could have been prevented, and the 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 accident that happened in Japan in '85. I was always interested in it, always wanting to know more about it, and
Sure.
if I was there, what could I have done? And in a way, like I said, um, if you listen to they're all out there. You can hear the original CVR takes from the aircraft,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
and they're all out there. And the thing that amazed me about that particular thing is that when the plane lost basically its tail, the pilots kept it in the air for 30 minutes before crashing, and that's a feat that can't even be duplicated in today's with the best pilots and simulators, etc. But um, I was kind of interested in that because it was just something sad that happened. But like I said, I was always interested in it, and then it kind
Yeah.
of affected me a few years later. Is that my brother, my younger brother, has a couple of friends uh, who had passed away. You know, when the Twin Towers came down, and
Oh, jeez.
and yeah, so when seeing the plane crashes, and it kind of brought all that back. In terms of the accident and stuff. In Japan, and I was like, wow. And I'm not doing it to try to capitalize or on
No,
somebody.
no, no, no. I don't get that
Oh
impression at
yeah,
all. I
it
get
was just
no.
I just felt deeply about it, and it was just
Okay.
I put, but um, Jay, the new album, it's pretty intense, but I mean,
Yeah.
um, that's how like I said, and autobiographically, I think it kind of goes to me like if I was on the plane, what would I have done? No, I mean, I've
Yeah,
always
no, of
put
course, of
I've always
course.
put my I've always put myself in a situation like that, maybe because of the ex law enforcement thing, like I could
Sure.
have done this, but I mean, it just affected me a lot, even reading some of the stories. And and there were survivors from the crash, so,
Oh,
but
were
I'm
there? Okay.
but
Huh.
yeah. And the and the other weird thing about it is that on the plane itself, as they were crashing, a lot of the people lost their lives. They're writing farewell notes as the plane is going down. And
Oh.
there was a guy on the plane who's a famous singer in Japan who had a hit here in America like in the '60s. And my dad was listening to that song a few years ago, and I go, hey, what's the name of that song? He goes, oh, this is by that Japanese guy. And I did research. I was like, holy shit, he was on that plane that crashed in '85.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was just like, and then it kind of brought it back, and I kind of started studying the aircraft, the accident again. But my dad listened to the guy, in high school when he had that, one hit wonder. So I mean, it all kind of falls back. But it's just like I said, we're with my law enforcement experiences. When something bad like that happens and I see it, I'm not a part of it, but if I see it, I'm just like, like the police officer takes over me. What if I was there? I could have done this, I could have done that. But I've always been that way. But being that
Sure.
way sometimes can be a little dangerous. So,
Sure, sure. Could
so
you
that's what.
yeah. So so then what about so there was the plane incident, and then what about the Dyatlov incident? I actually just started learning about that a couple days ago after I didn't even realize you had that record out until just a few days ago actually. And
Really?
because
Wow.
I jumped in with August and I got so entrenched in it that I kind of just put blinders onto so many of the other dark ambient things because it's so rich, and I just couldn't
Yeah.
help myself. Um, but what about the Dyatlov incident? Or I, um,
That's something that has always fascinated me as well. The story
Okay.
about what happened to them.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a mystery, and it hasn't been solved to this day.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, when I did each individual song for Day Outlaw, I kind of tried to put myself in, their shoes. If I was one of the hikers or the skiers, that lost their life, and recording it, I was like, if I was this person, this is how I would feel, what would be going on in my head, and different sounds, and just everything. And I put it all together with the Outlaw. And like I said, it's a weird thing that's never been solved, and probably never
Yeah.
solved. So, but I thought that it had to be told and put out, like musically, because like I said, it was just, I don't know, man, recording it. When I recorded the Outlaw, I tried to feel like if I was there.
Sure.
I wanted to feel like it was happening to me, and if it was happening to me, how would I feel? What would be going through my head in terms of sight, sounds, everything? And I tried to translate it into the Outlaw, and I mean, I think I did. I brought a little more awareness to it, but I mean, you know, it's something that can never be solved. Even though personally, I think they were just at the wrong place at the wrong time, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think that um, they were hurt by maneuvers done by the Russian military, and they were letting off, testing different kinds of bombs and different things, and they were just in the pathway, and they lost their lives. That's what I think anyway. But who am
Interesting.
I?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a scary story.
Yeah. No, I was watching some YouTube videos and reading some remarks about it, and it is pretty amazing to see just how little consensus there is on what actually happened. It seems like a lot of people are very like, they have their idea on what happened, and then they think, I've just seen a whole swath of different reasons or explanations as to what happened, but I still
I
have no good clue. So
I
it's
I, I got sold on in terms of like if it was the military, and one of one of the hikers had a camera,
mhm.
and he managed to snap one final picture before the end, and it's a picture you can see online, and it looks like two giant uh, meteors or like tracer lights coming through the air.
Oh yeah, I
La-
think I saw a
That's
little. Yeah,
yeah, and that was the last photo, and to me it looks like some bombs in the air and they're coming down.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but and I don't know if you've seen the picture of the hiker themselves after the event, and it's very messy.
No, I didn't. The When I
Yeah,
was looking at images, like they were blurring it out. I think like just to
uh,
respect the people, and I wasn't really looking to see those images. I was
yeah,
I was more chilled just by the story itself and kind of the mystery around it. And
it's same here. And then when I saw the images, I kind of like I said, I've seen some stuff. You've seen the images, all the pictures online, and there's just wow,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
it's wow.
So
Not
how? Yeah, so and I guess it with so you've been producing, or there are, you seem to create like albums under Sana Obruent relatively quick, or at least that's the impression I'm under. Like
uh-huh.
what's your workflow, or the like how do you move from one project to the next? Is it kind of, you get a flash or like a bolt of inspiration to work on something, or do you kind of have a running list of things that you're trying to address with each release? I don't.
It's a little bit of both, a little bit of everything.
Okay.
There's just um, you know, I I I always have something that like when it came to the Outlaw,
Hmm.
I've studied it for years. And I was like, I'm going to put something out that just shows how I feel about that event. And then with August, I'm going to put out something, to show how I feel. But I mean, um, I have these sounds in my head, and I got to get them out as quickly as possible.
Okay. And
And
how does I guess how do I'm trying to think because I don't produce music myself, but how
yeah,
what like what is that like when you're reading about it? How so you just hear these sounds that kind of revolve or mull around in your head with respect to is it with respect to the feelings you have when you're doing your research on these people or these things, these events, or what is that like? Like getting those complex feelings or thoughts or sounds in your head and then translating them into music.
I think that when it comes to those particular things, or say with like the outlaw, I kind of liken it back to being an ex-cop. There were some situations there that were very scary, very frightening,
Yeah,
and when I do research on things that I want to write about or make some music on or something, like I said, although I might not have been there on the Russian mountains and the Atlas, but I
yeah,
mean, I can understand. I'm like, I can understand the the them being worried or being scared, because even though their situations were a lot worse than something I've ever been in, but
hmm,
I can relate, because I've been in a lot of very scary and very crazy situations. But um, like I said, when I think about these things, or I want to write some music about these particular subjects, like I said, the sounds in my head, they're just swirling, if that makes any sense. And
yeah,
I gotta put them out. And then especially like if it's with the outlaw, I I knew there's going to be a certain theme. And um, but like I said, when it goes back to like when I felt like I'm automatic writing, it just came out. Everything that I had in my head, even though I thought, how am I going to be able to translate this? It's going to be
yeah.
too hard for me. But no, that's when the automatic thing came out, and it just took over.
Huh.
But for each particular subject, I have a different. There's just different sounds in my head,
I
and
see.
when I put them out, I do it, and when I record, I do everything live. There's no
Oh,
there's no overdubbing. There's no nothing. If I do any editing, it's just to fade in the track and fade it out. But what you hear is the first take, always the first take, and live. Period.
really?
Yeah. Period.
Wow.
I
That's pretty
can't
amazing, actually. I had no idea.
I can't. It's just I can't do like something like the Outlaw for August and say, okay, well, I'm gonna overdub here. I'm gonna put some more guitar here. I can't. When I do it, it's live, and like I said, there's only editing. It's just to bring the song in slowly and to fade it out, and that's the only editing that's ever done to any Sana Obruent track. But it's completely live, always.
Wow.
It has to be.
Oh, that's amazing. I
It's just,
really,
it just seems more real to me that way.
yeah.
And then you, from what you said, you know, and when I'm doing it, I'm just like, I want the listener to feel, the
Yeah.
same way, or at least to feel what I'm going through. And from what you described, then you get it, man. You understand it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's pretty it is really remarkable because there's so many dark ambient composers or artists that I come across and I love so much of it, but there's just this deep undercurrent of emotion that seems to, maybe like emotion and just like some of it is heartfelt and some of it is unnerving just throughout each of the tracks I listen to that you compose. And it's, yeah, I don't know. I have such a hard time describing it. Um,
Really? Dyatlov, right? Or
yeah,
August.
or
Sorry, August.
yeah, like Dyatlov, August, like just any of the compositions, I find them so, they just feel so, I don't know. There's just so much emotion, but it just feels almost elusive too. Like like it's hard for me to put into words. It just kind of dredges up these really, it makes me feel feelings I almost didn't even know I had. If that makes sense, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, man. Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
wow.
but it's,
I can't. I when it comes to August,
Yeah.
it's. I think I've maybe heard it twice since
Oh,
I
that's it,
I
huh?
I put it out because it's it stings, man.
No,
And
and that's something that I really wish I could,
it
you know,
stings.
yeah,
And I can I've tried to I'll put it on or try to listen to something and I play it off because I just get emotional because there were things that could have been done to change the outcome of what happened all these years ago, but
yeah,
it didn't happen. But um, I'm gonna to be honest, I've been psyching myself up to try to listen to it again, and I probably will, just put it back on and listen all the way through. And but if there was anything they ever put out as Sana Obruent, other than the very first album, I wanted to make people just feel the same way that I
sure,
do when it came to August.
sure.
That's all I really wanted.
Like with respect to mental preparation for recording these, does it require a lot of focus and attention and a lot of preparation up until the point you record these all these tracks or these records?
Yeah, it gets especially with all of them, especially with the Love in August. I tend to get what's the word here? I tend to get a bit antsy because I I want to approach it right away. I want to start right away and
Start
get it.
recording it right away,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
okay,
just recording it right away. I mean, to me, like I said, in a way, I can't. If I'm sitting down or just doing something normal and just I'm gonna go do a dark ambient track. To me, I can't work that way. So I mean, it'll hit me like out of nowhere, just boom, and then I log in and I get everything going and I get set up and then I start recording.
okay,
So in terms of any preparation, other than a couple of the stories like with that off in August, but I mean, like I said, when I record, that's what's in my head. It's spontaneous, but at the same time, it's premeditated in a sense because this is what I want people to feel. And like I said, I can't stress enough, like, because when I do it, I'm not going to say I get into some type of a trance. I don't, but it's just like something takes over, and I'm able to do, to record what's going on. And then after recording just one track, I'm spent. I'm just
really,
like I can't. It'll be done. I could finish the track and then it's done, and I'm just like, I feel like somebody. I feel like I've been in a 12 round fight. You know what I mean?
I see.
I get spent, and I'm just like, wow. But then the next day, I'll keep building on the foundation of the songs. For the subject matter of what I'm doing. But like each song, it takes a lot out of me.
And it's
But
like you kind of embody each one and say you'd record one a day or something of that sort, and you wouldn't really return to it until
yeah,
you give it some
yeah,
time to kind of soak. Or okay, okay,
yeah. I mean, it's it's a weird thing to describe, a weird thing to feel. But I mean, that's like I said. That's why I always
sure,
record late at night. Everything's quiet, everything's dark, and I
yeah,
it even comes out better that way. But like I said, I get I get spent. It's like my energy gets just taken away. But at the same time, when I feel that way, I'm not angry because what I wanted to express or convey, with what I'm hearing, I was able to get it out. So that now it's on to the next track, and
yeah,
I'll still get spent, but I got to get it out because I want everybody, to hear it. I
sure,
have, I have to.
sure. And do you feel some sort of connect? Like, do you feel a connection to worlds beyond our own? I don't know how to ask that without it sounding cheesy, because I know your debut on Blackjack Illuminous Records was the Prince of the Air, or the Prince of
Yeah,
Air, I believe.
Prince of the Air.
Prince of the Air. And that I got a and I mean I got a lot of ghostly apparition-esque vibes from that, and I get that feeling from all the records I've listened to of yours, as Sana Obruent. But do you feel some sort of connection to, to places unseen, or is there something that, you feel your music is kind of connecting you to some other place that, you can only feel, but you can't really see? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, with the first album, like I said, the image of the ghost on, sitting at the piano, or
Yeah,
um, I'm not, what's the word here? I mean, without getting religious or anything, I mean, I'm a Catholic, fallen Catholic, whatever. But I mean,
sure, sure.
uh, um, 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 when it comes to like, I am very attracted to that type of world where, whether it's a ghost or something beyond, you know, the galaxy or whatever, or paranormal. I believe in a lot of that stuff, mostly because I think, there's been certain members of my family who experienced things like,
Sure.
things like that, and I've listened to their stories about how they would tell me about certain things, whether seeing a ghost or having someone that passed away call them on the telephone, which actually happened to one of my family members.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so I mean, but um, if it comes to flying saucers and everything, yeah, I mean, I believe in it as much as the next person, but
Yeah,
um, but when I record, especially with Prince of the Air, that was something that first album actually is centers around, the ghosts or the ghost drones or whatever, because uh, I with that first album was me trying to show that, it's hard to believe with, things like that exist. Do they? I think so, but
yeah,
with Prince of the Air, I wanted to convey all of that. So every song on that album is about, a ghost, or something happening to a family member or a friend, or
sure.
wondering if there's something else, if you die, what goes on. I mean, do I believe in all that stuff? Well, yeah. Well, why not?
Yeah,
I'd like to think there's something else, but
yeah,
then again, God has a hell of a sense of humor.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Take it from me. I know, man. So I mean,
I
but
can't even imagine. It sounds like, yeah, I can't even imagine.
so I mean, but it's just, basically, when it comes to Sana Obruent, I'm able to convey how I'm feeling inside about things that actually scare the shit out of me, things that make me happy, things that make me sad, things that make me angry. Sana Obruent is my outlet. I can't put that in a shoegaze song, even though I've touched on autobiographical things with
Yeah,
Angel Falls, but Sana Obruent is my outlet to show that, what's really going on, and how I feel, and I
yeah,
just want to I just want other people to experience it as much as I do. But funny that you should ask. From Prince of the Air all the way to August. I mean, I get a lot of messages from people in the Gothic community, and different things are just like, hey, we want to invite you to our next seance, this and that. And I'm just like, well, that's thanks, but I think I'm recording that night.
I
So,
see. I
but
see.
I mean, but they love the music, which is cool. But I mean, right away there's this images that, yeah, he's in front of his guitar in his studio, and he's got some bonfires going on afterwards. He'll probably do a sacrifice or something. But no, it's not like that, man. It's not like that. But
Yeah,
I can understand why people may feel that way. But like I said, the overall response with Santa has just been, it's actually blown me away. I'd never thought that people
yeah.
would actually embrace it like they have. And with you, when it comes to August, wow, it blows me away, man. It really does.
Yes, and how, I guess, kind of building on that as well. I was interested in learning a bit more about how you broke into I mean, not broke into, but you debuted you were the first artist on Blackjack Illuminous, Alex's record label, to be
Yeah.
essentially an artist that wasn't one of his projects, which I thought was really neat. And how was that, or how did that whole thing come about?
Well, I had known about his label for a while,
Okay.
and if I remember correctly, I remember I saw him on Facebook. I can't remember where I sent him a message, if it was as a friend request or something else, but I was pretty blunt with when it came to Prince of the Year, because that's the first thing he put out. I just said, "Hey, this is my music, it's Santa. This is Prince of the Year. I think this needs to come out on your label." That's exactly what I
And you just
said.
said, I think it needs to be out on your
And,
label, and that was it.
and that's exactly what I said. I
That's
love
funny.
Blackjack. I love your stuff. You got some good stuff, and my name is so and so, and this is my you know dark ambient full time solo project, Sana Obruent. Here's my album, Prince of the Air, and I'm sending this to you because it needs to come out on your label now.
And he was just like, all right,
and
let's do it.
and and he listened to it in about 3 or 4 days. He goes, "All right, man, you're on."
Really? It was just like that? Like it
It
was.
was just like that, and I wasn't really that arrogant when I sent him the message, because I liked what he was doing. And Prince of the Air, it was just kind of it came out like on a net label like years ago when I first put it out, and it kind
Oh.
of, yeah, just, but it kind of just disappeared. And then, like I said, a few years after that, I saw Blackjack Luminous, the records, and
Yeah.
I've always liked his stuff out, and I was just like, I want Prince of the Year to come out. I think it would be cool on his label. That's, but that, I think I had a message here somewhere that I sent, but it was just basically, hey man, I really love your stuff at BIR, and Prince of the Year needs to come out on Blackjack today. That, I think I said something to that effect, just that blunt. and,
And he
and,
was
and,
totally sold
and
on it.
yeah, and
That's
I didn't
awesome.
hear from him for a few days, and I thought, I pissed him off. Oh, well, I tried. Then he just sent me back a message, and hey, you want to put this out on CD and cassette? I'm like, well, fuck yeah, let's do it. and that was, and he put it out, and I was just like, and I think he's given a couple interviews somewhere where he basically said that, Paul just wrote me and says, this needs to come out on your label today.
Yeah, yeah,
and,
no,
and, and, and
yeah.
it's true. That's what I said. That exactly, that blunt, put it out today, or I'm gonna come to wherever country you are, and I'm gonna steal your Christmas presents if you don't put it out, man. But he did it, and like for a few days, I thought I might have pissed him off or stepped on his, because he wasn't a friend of mine on Facebook or anything. I
Yeah.
can't remember if I sent him a message to the Bandcamp site or something else, but like I said, I was being blunt, and most people might have thought of being like a little bit arrogant or mean, but I
Yeah.
wasn't. I just liked his label with what he was
Yeah.
doing. I thought Prince of the Air would be perfect. And I said, dude, put it out today. Do it, and he did
Yeah.
it.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
how's the relationship with him developed over when did Prince of the Air come out again? Was that a couple years ago or
Oh
last
no,
year?
Prince of the Year came out, I believe, in 2011,
Oh shoot. Okay. So
2012.
I should have done my homework. I
Yeah,
should.
it came out a while back, and like I said, it just, a few people bought it, but it kind of just, you know, drifted out in the ether a little bit. But
Yeah.
um, when I had seen Alex's label for a time, and like I said, I liked his releases, what he was doing, and I knew that he didn't put any musicians out other than just him.
Yeah.
But I just felt, just something I felt like, this would look cool on his label. Not thinking that he's gonna put my album there, his label will be the best. But no, it's just I thought that Blackjack would represent it, Prince of the Air well,
Sure.
and he agreed, and I was really happy with it, and
Yeah.
but the relationship with him, Alex is a mate. He's a good guy, man. We've talked a few times, we've video chat and stuff, but he's got new projects going on and everything. But we're buddies, man. I'm always grateful for what he did for me. And,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for him, I really don't think Sana Obruent would have reached anywhere that that it has now. But
Yeah.
50% is the music, but the other part, he put it out there. He put it out on CD. I mean, he did that with August, Diatloff,
Yep.
Prince of the Air, and then we might reissue another album that I did
Oh, nice.
called A Return to the Ballroom, which maybe he'll put out on cassette or CD later this year. I'm hoping he said he would do it, so he probably will. But
Yeah. No,
and and
I like him a lot. He's pretty good at, if he says he'll do something, he's pretty good at just following through pretty soon thereafter, I've noticed.
and it's pretty cool to see these Sana Obruent CDs and cassettes just show up in my mailbox from him. Like, hey, all right,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
yeah.
did you did do it out.
Yeah,
So,
no.
but I mean, he's he's a good guy, and I hope the relationship with him continues. I'm kind of excited. Hopefully, he'll put out the Ballroom album out later this year because that's mostly, it's not really any ambient drone stuff. It's just like really ghostly ballroom music coming out of an echoed hallway. You know what I mean? So,
Interesting. Huh.
but he wants to put that out. So hopefully he will later this year. I'm thinking around April or May, he said, but we'll see. But he's busy, and
Oh no,
sometimes I don't
yeah.
like to bug. I don't like to bug him sometimes, but
Yeah,
um,
I can't believe how much with the number of projects he has. And then I've done an interview with him, and he sent me a track for the compilation. I was like, where the hell do you have time to put together all these damn like, how does he do it? And then he has a full-time job. Like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know how he does any of that. It's just like, how do you sleep? It's crazy.
yeah. I'm glad I hooked up with him, and I'm glad that he didn't put my email in the trash when he first read what,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I wasn't trying to be arrogant.
No,
I, re-
no.
I really wanted Prince of the Air to come out properly, and I saw how he did the releases and cassette. And, it's all homemade, but I mean, it's beautifully done. And I just said,
Yes.
God, I want to be a part of this, and just pushed everybody out of the way. And you better put this out now.
Yeah. Yeah,
And he
definitely.
and he and he, and he did it. And I'm like I said, I'm grateful, man. I'm glad we kind of found each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I put out another San Oberon track, but that was just on a compilation that Alex put out. But I mean,
Oh, that's right. That was the BIR 10-year anniversary.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
Um, but as far as Sana Oberon, I don't know when I'll do something with that. Is because at this point right now, Angel Falls, the band, it's like going into overdrive.
Oh,
And
really? Okay.
well, we recorded 4 songs, two
Oh, cool.
original that we're still working on. We debuted one last night on
That's
my
right. That was the
on my
David Bowie
radio
cover,
show.
right?
Yes, Space Oddity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we got another cover coming out next week from another band that we thought came out, pretty decent. But
Sweet.
we'll see what happens. Like I said, we are writing stuff, but I mean, but it's funny. Even though as I say that, that Angel Falls is kind of going full steam. It's just, with Santa Oberon, I'm just like, my mind is still churning, but at the same time, like I don't, I probably won't put something out for a while. But then again, I like to surprise people. Like, you never know, I may end up putting out another full length album in 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Well, that was kind of one of the things that I was trying to get at more, and with when you released August, I was blown away by that. I'm like, man, I can listen to this for years, and it's just a perfect record. And then
Thanks.
you drop the Mount Osutaka
Yeah,
incident record. That was what, 4.5 months later or something like that, or like 4-ish
yeah,
months
yeah.
later. And I was like, what? I was like, how the hell did you how'd you have time to churn that one out so quick? That's um
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not. It's like I said. There's in terms of the tracks that I do with Santa Operon. I mean, there's nothing left over that says, "Oh, I can use this for the next record," or "I can use this." No, it's all all fresh, all original. And like I said, personally, when it comes to, I mean, the Angel Falls music takes some time, basically because we live in different parts of the
Yeah.
U.S.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But with Santa Operon, it's me, and I can get to it quick. But I mean, when when I put out Dyatlov and then August and then the Japanese plane crash thing.
Yes.
When 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 it comes to Sana Obruent, I'm not going to say that I feel rushed because I don't, but I'm just as I said earlier, I'm antsy in a way because I want to get this out
Yeah.
when it comes to Sana Obruent because sometimes I feel like there's not enough time for me to get the Sana Obruent stuff out. So that's why I I do it quick as I can, but at
Yeah.
the same time, um, when it comes to the music of Santa Obra, sometimes, I think the one analogy I put in my head is that when it comes to that music, I'm in extra innings, and I need to do it before the game's finished. You know what I mean? And that's
Sure.
why I I do it as quick as I can. But with that being said, though, even though I put it out, fairly quickly, each song that when it comes out on an album about a particular thing that I'm writing about, each track is true, honest, and brutal as I can be with it in terms of wanting to relate to people. But it's all each track, of sent over music. It's all blood, sweat, and a million tears, man. And it's just something that I need to get out. And sent over for me, it's even though it's a side thing, but it's full time for me. I'm not gonna give it up. Just we're doing this. No, that's
Yeah.
it's a full time. I mean, I just put out the Japanese album a few weeks back, and
Yep.
then at the same time, there's Angel Falls. We're doing stuff, but um, the Santa Open, it's just something that I think the best way I can say, I just want to share it with people.
Yeah.
I just want people to listen to it, and that's why I always tell people, if you're gonna listen to it, put your headphones on, turn out your lights, and just drift, and
Yep.
that's what I want people
Sure.
to feel. Maybe that's why I turn it around so fast because I want them to, even you, even listen. I just want you guys to feel what I feel, to hear what I hear, and that's my main motivation because I want everyone to feel, how I'm feeling,
Yeah. And is that
basically.
and is it and is there almost when you say you're antsy, is it almost do you ever have apprehension about your feelings maybe evaporating if you don't get it out into song quick enough? Is that
Yeah,
like
yeah, it
okay.
bugs me. It's like,
Yeah.
it's a thought, it's a nagging thought. It won't leave my brain, and the only way it can leave is when I actually, finish it and put it down, and boom, and it's finished.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could be somewhere that at an important doctor's appointment, but all I can think about is not what the doctor's going to tell me. It's I got to get back and finish this track.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
So I mean, that's it's just, and like I said, it has to do with a little bit of excitement as well. Like I said, I just want to share everything, and I want everybody to see what I'm doing because I'm proud of what I'm doing. But like I said, it makes me feel even better when I've always said that if one person, and if just one person can understand what I
Yeah.
do and send it over, then my mission is successful. Just one person. That's all that matters to me because you get it. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
that makes me feel not only good, but at the same time that you're listening with an open mind and
Yeah.
open ears, and you appreciate what I'm doing. But the main thing that I keep saying over and over is that you understand it and you get it, and that's all that's important to me.
Sure. Definitely. Well, I guess we already touched on a bunch of the stuff that I was curious about, but I'm also just kind of going back to
Yeah.
the shoegaze.
Uh-huh.
Um, what is the how have you seen the landscape of the musical domain shifted, from your personal perspective? Because you started with Spell 336 so long ago, and you're still producing um, shoegaze as it is now as Angel Falls and Sana Obruent. But how is the landscape changed? And then I guess in addition to that, how have how's your project? Maybe I should start with that first question. I have another question,
Oh, go
but
ahead.
just with respect to like the landscape shift or just kind of how the scene has evolved. What are your thoughts on that, or do you have any insights on that?
There's just, let's see now. I mean, there's a lot of bands that, obviously they're getting back together, doing shows, a lot of the bigger
Yeah,
shoegaze acts. And I think real basically in terms of the landscape, there's a lot of people that are, a lot of younger people that are getting turned on to it. Their
sure.
mother and father used to listen to all these different bands, and these bands have got back together. Now I'm going to take my kids. It's become a little not clouded, but everybody's. I don't know if they're going to say jumping on the bandwagon or anything like that,
Yeah,
but it's it has shifted. But like I said, in the sense that new people are discovering it, which is
hmm,
cool. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Which is cool, but and as like I said, when as far as me still producing it, like I said, I mean, I love all forms of music,
yeah,
and shoegaze too. I love it. But like I said, it just shifts in the sense that more people are listening to it, more people are embracing it. It's becoming a little more mainstream
yeah,
than a lot of people want to realize, but it is. But um, that's cool, and being even saying that, Angel Falls, we're not trying to get the $1 million record deal or anything like that.
yeah, sure.
We're just putting this out because we love what we're doing musically.
I
But
see.
um, it's cool to have different people from all walks of life who are embracing and listening to shoegaze. It's cool. I get it. It's cool, man. But
Sure.
it's a lot different from how it was.
Yeah.
Late '80s, early '90s. But I mean, it's
Yeah,
cool.
and that's something
Cool.
that I was trying to wrap my head around because since you've been kind of through the whole, or you've seen kind of that whole spectrum and you've lived through it and you've played some of it and you've experienced it, I was just, yeah, like since I wasn't even alive when it was a thing, I
Yeah,
was just curious, how you've seen it change and what your opinions on it were, but that makes sense.
yeah. It's just a
Uh,
lot of the bands got older.
yeah, yeah,
That's but they still sound great, and but like I said, times are different now in terms of all that landscape. So a lot of people are coming to the shoegaze door, so to speak, to experience all of it, and it's cool. It is, man. I appreciate it. It's
sure.
cool. It's cool.
So what about with respect to when you so with Sana Obruent, um, how has how has the project for you changed from the day you set out under that guise under that moniker to now? Have you evolved in a way that you really didn't foresee? Like, have you gone in certain directions that you really never anticipated, or have there been, like, what have you learned throughout your process or throughout your project?
I when I did the first album, I I've it kind of goes back to I've always been a fan of what you can call the dark ambient and drone and stuff, and
Yeah,
I always wanted to I wanted to always get into that genre of music and put something out myself. Um, but from when I've started until now, um, I would have never thought a few years back that I could put out something like August because the story behind it is just really painful, or
yeah,
Dialof and everything. And from the start, all those years ago until now, um, it's it's something that I never thought that I could do or be capable of. I never thought that I could
yeah,
actually get what I was feeling inside out. And if anything's changed from the first album and now, I think I've gotten a little more personal, a little more serious, and even a little bit darker. But
yeah,
that's what I want. But I'm not trying to scare anybody with it. It's just from that first album until now, there is a progression of being really mellow and nice, and then going and going upwards, and then everybody's just like and it is a quite a drastic change from the first record until now. But
Yeah.
I never thought that I could actually take it that way. I never thought I could get what I felt out, but I'm happy that I did. But I didn't expect the progression to be like that, but it
I
is,
see.
and I'm glad it has, because looking back on it, it's what I wanted all along. Maybe I was just afraid to admit it in certain respects, but it's what I wanted, and it all the way up until August, it's what I wanted, and it came out the way I wanted. I never thought it would, but it has, and I'm extremely grateful for
Okay.
it.
Personally, has this project really, like, what is it taught you about life and your life, and the things you value and things of that sort?
um, Life is short, man.
Yeah,
Um, not to be using any cliches or something, but I
sure.
mean, life is short, and it's do the best you can with with each day you have. But um, it's just taught me a lot about being honest when it came to what I was feeling personally or in life, and doing things like that to get it out musically. But I mean, it's actually helped me in a lot more ways. It's made me more mellow than I've ever been before in my life.
Interesting. Huh.
Um, um, because if you hear some of the songs, you'll think that's some dark shit, and it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I mean, it was purposely done, but at the same time, I wanted to be dark, maybe even somewhat evil, but beautiful at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's, but it's just I appreciate a lot more things in life because of but be honest with you, because of the music that's sent over, because it's I've applied it to certain parts of my life. I mean, when it comes to August, I couldn't really tell anybody the story about my cousin other than my wife or a couple other people. But I mean,
Yeah.
I can't, and it was pretty personal to put it out, and and it goes back to your question, just like just try to enjoy life as much as I can, and
Sure.
but I'm in awe of just different things that the music of Sana Obruent has done for me. I never thought that I could um, put out something like that shows how I actually feel. Like I said, with each track, um, it's direct, especially with August. It's directing it of what I'm feeling inside, what I'm going through mentally, and just things in my everyday life. But
Sure.
it's taught me to embrace life a little better, and just take each day one day at a time. But at the same time, just appreciate it. And as long as I feel that way, and I'm sure I will. I'm still going to make more albums with Sana Obruent and Angel Falls. But um, that's basically, man. I'm just all I can say is that um, I'm glad to be here. And somebody the other day, think somebody sent me a message about Sana Obruent and everything. And I think the question they posed to me was like, you do all this music, Paul. How do you want to be remembered? And I was like, remembered. I was like, well, uh, how do I want to be remembered? And I just, just to be remembered. How's that? So I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
and but I'm grateful to people, listeners, individuals like you, and just
Sure.
everything. Even though I have the stories to tell, it's because of people like you that help me get it out and help me keep it going. Because without individuals like yourself and listeners, I can't do what I do. Period.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all there is to it. Sana Obruent lives and breathes because of you and everybody else who embrace it, and that's the main thing that keeps me going. And I'm going to do as long as I can. I don't want to let anybody down, and that's what I'm doing. And like I said, I'm more than grateful to everybody and you who just embrace, what I do with Sana Obruent, because it means a lot to me that, anybody could probably realize or understand.
Sure. Sure. Well, shit. I don't know if I have much else. That was.
Well, let me tell you a quick Spell 336 story.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Please.
uh, um, um, Long story short, we recorded uh, the tracks that are on my Bandcamp, the Bandcamp page in 91 and 92.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, After we recorded the tracks in 1992, I got the masters, I got the Ampex reels, I got all the DATs. In 1992, at the last session, I took all the tapes and I stuck them at the bottom of a dresser. And from 1992 until 2008, they never saw the light of day.
Really?
No one in my family ever heard the finished product. Nobody. I just
Wow.
I just put it in the dresser. Then in 2008, I said fuck it. I made a MySpace page for Spell 336. I put I put some songs up. I put silence, and then from that point on, it just fucking snowballed. And but
Really?
the songs were at the bottom of the dresser for 10, about 16, 17 years. They were there. No one ever never heard anything. I just put it away,
That's
and I
amazing.
and I just decided to pull it out that one day. And a good friend of mine who passed away a few years ago was the first one to discover it on MySpace, and
Huh.
it was just like from that point on, it kind of snowballed, and it kind of got me into just basically where I am now musically with everything. But Spell 336 was the one that kind of just kicked it off for me in 2008. And I still got the Ampex reels. They probably need to be baked or something if I want to
Yeah.
listen to
Yeah.
the one thing that I want to do is I have the original master reels for my Leviathan scalpel sessions.
Mm. Mm-mm.
I have those at the bottom of the same dresser. I would love, because it's the master. So I mean, I'd love to put that out just like in good sound and in comparison to what's out there now with all the cassette dubs and everything. But
You should try and press some of that on vinyl and then I'll just buy
I
all of
I
it.
I want to so bad, and and the thing with that album, we recorded it in Stockton, California.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We recorded it in 1989 at here. This is the trip at a studio called Louder Than You Think Studios in Stockton. And
Okay.
have you ever heard of the band Pavement?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but it may have been before my time.
Yeah, there was an indie band, grudge band, whatever, called Pavement that everybody still loves.
Even to
They
this
put
day,
out
people are into them.
Yeah, yeah. They put out an album in '92, which name kind of slips me, which kind of broke them. And but the guy that owned the studio where recorded the Leviathan tapes, he became the drummer for Pavement for the first
Oh,
for the first album. But they threw him out of the band because he was just you know did too many drugs or got into a lot of bad shit, I guess.
sure.
But it was funny recording those sessions with him. He kept falling asleep at the board while he's recording us.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, and it came real close to all four of us just grabbing him and tying him up and beating him up, but we
Yeah,
didn't do
yeah,
it. But
of course.
but uh, but I managed to get the master reel, but I want so bad to put that out and just you know it really good sound with that reel to reel tape. But I need to get it you know, have somebody transfer to do something because
Yeah.
I've always been proud of my drumming on
Oh,
those
yeah.
songs
Yeah,
than
yeah.
anything I've probably ever done since because it was so cool and the way it came out. But it's kind of an imperative for me. I want to put it out, maybe do it like on a cassette thing, but I think vinyl would be the shit, to put it out somehow on a
Yeah.
vinyl. I've been looking around because there were people because I got the Leviathan scalpel tracks up on SoundCloud, and people have been
That's
sending me
right.
messages. that hey, let's put this out, let's do this.
So
But
people have been reaching out saying, "Hey, let's fucking get this on something." Like,
yeah,
uh,
there was a song that we did, a Scalpel, called Black Mask, that I left off of SoundCloud for
mhm.
some reason. I don't remember why. And some random uh, guy and a gal, they sent me like a bunch of these messages. How come Black Mask isn't posted to the SoundCloud? Well, how the fuck do you know about that track? I'm like, how the hell do you know about Black Mask? Can you please put it up? We love all your stuff, but where's Black Mask? And again, I'm just like, who are you? How do you
That
how do you
is
know?
nuts. That is
Yeah. So then I
nuts.
put I put Black Mask up there, and then I got a message like a day later. Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm like, but I still have no idea who these people are, and I'm like, how the fuck did they know about Black
Yeah,
Mask?
yeah. I guess that that's kind of an amazing thing about music, though. Just like I don't know, like there are just certain people that are so into really obscure, just like rant. I don't know how people get into that kind of stuff, but it always blows my mind. Like whenever I stumble upon something that's like different, or just like something that I would be like, oh, nobody knows about this, and it's like, oh, there's a whole cult following of
Yeah,
this band, and
yeah.
you're just like, how do people? I don't get it. I
It
don't
bl-
get it,
it,
but
it blew me away, and to this day, I'm still kind of dumbfounded as how did they know that? That
the song,
because
yeah.
the Leviathan demo, I think there's maybe 6 or 7 songs, and then on the Scalpel demo, there's like only 4 tracks. So the 3 tracks I put up, I must have forgot, Black Mask, but to have somebody actually send me more than one message, like, why haven't you posted it? Is there like a copyright issue or something? Well, no, I got the tapes, but how the fuck do you know about that
That's so
track,
funny.
man?
That is so funny. I've
I, I
never.
don't I don't I don't understand. And recently I found a cassette uh, of our last live show that we did through the soundboard. Somebody taped it, and a Scalpel. We were doing a live show, so it's kind of cool. I think we did some Slayer songs. We did a Creator song. And,
Oh, nice.
we used to do Masked Jackal by the band Corner in our sets, and that's actually on the cassette. I'm trying to. I got that on cassette. Maybe put it through the computer and clean up the sound and post it up on SoundCloud and stuff. Because I mean, it was kind of cool because that last show was in 1990, and
Wow.
Seasons in the Abyss by Slayer had come out like 2 or 3 days before. So when we played
Oh.
live, we did War Ensemble,
Yeah, yeah.
and people didn't know. They were kind of blown away. Here we were, new Slayer record, we did War Ensemble. So
Yeah, yeah.
managed to
Huh.
capture it live cassette. But if I put it
Interesting.
out, man, I'll float you the MP3 file, man, and you can
Oh, yeah, for sure.
keep
I'd
keep it
appreciate that.
keep it and spread it around.
Yeah, and if you do any like yeah, any sort of physical releases, I'm always up for that. I kind of wish I know that putting vinyl together, I've as I've been like following bands, it seems like it's such a variable process. Like it almost always seems like no vinyl ever comes out on time. The It sounds like the plants always fuck up somehow.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I don't know why, but I assume that it's just because the demand is insane and they just can't keep up. But
I was thinking if it come out on vinyl rather than just like a full album all at once, I was thinking of doing like maybe a series of some 45
yeah,
uh,
that'd be cool.
vinyl, like a couple of 45s and A and B tracks from the demos. But
That'd probably be a lot cheaper than doing like a full like a
oh, yeah.
full record, right? Like a
And I still got some of the original artwork, the Scalpel picture, the cover art. I've got that somewhere. It's a real huge poster sized picture. We had
oh, is
somebody
it?
draw. Oh yeah, yeah. I got it somewhere, and I actually found some old flyers from some of our older shows that we used to play. So
Huh.
uh, yeah, but I mean, I'm working on it because I go to the Scalpel site on SoundCloud, and there's like I get I'm getting more new followers. So I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
isn't that
What the heck?
surreal? Yeah, it's surreal.
I'm like,
People are like, "Oh yeah, why don't you guys get back?" And maybe the people were
yeah.
like, "Get back together." And it's like, dude, this was like over 20 years ago
The,
or whatever.
the,
Like,
the funny thing, my guitarist, he lives about 45 minutes to an hour away from me, and our bassist vocalist, he lives about 90 minutes away from me. So we're all within shouting distance, but
oh wow,
uh, we haven't. I mean, we're still in touch, but my guitarist, the old guitarist, he wants to do something. He wants to let's just do some shows. But I said, if we were to do that, I go, let's try and put out, the old demo tapes, clean them up, put them out, and do some shows, and we'll have that CD or vinyl. People want to grab it, but it's just all up in the air. Who
yeah,
knows?
yeah. I mean, how yeah, I can imagine though. Just your life and priorities are so much different now than they were when you were much younger, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, the good thing about me is just my kids are all grown up, and they all have their own lives. So it's just me and the wife here, and so I mean, I've got a lot of free time on my end, but I use all that time just to record the ambient stuff, to
yep.
shoegaze, and just get everywhere, on the net. But pretty much. But it's like going into overdrive for me with all my projects. I'm full steam ahead, dude.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you're unbelievably busy with a bunch of stuff, especially with the Angel Falls. In addition to, yeah, I can't even.
He keeps me sane.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I'm just used to the ex-cop just things going a million miles an hour on
Yeah, yeah,
rock rock and rolling 24 hours a day. But now it's like I'm watching the grass grow. But I'm still doing all these other things, and that's why music's so important to me. I get everything out. Yeah, it's just me doing everything. With the Shoegaze Collective, all that stuff. It's just it's only one person. It's just me.
yeah, and I guess that's something I totally botched in not asking because I think from all we've discussed so far, we kind of encapsulated a decent bit of your body of work.
Oh yeah.
But with respect, I guess if you want to give some tidbits on that as well, the Shoegaze Collective, I spaced on that. Just how when you've
Well, no, just that takes up a lot of time, but I'm glad to do it. It's especially with the radio show that um the DKFM, the radio show, they put out the collective every week, but
yeah,
it's a cool thing. But the Shoegaze Collective has been around since, you guessed it, MySpace.
okay,
Um, but it's okay, man. That's where I'm meeting a lot of uh, different bands, and believe it or not, a lot of dark ambient, a lot of drone. People know about the collective, and that's how I've met a lot of these other ambient artists through the collective, which is even more cool to me because
yeah,
they're doing a lot of the dark ambient, the drone, and just really dark stuff. And the first thing I say, how'd you hear about me? Oh, through the collective. Oh, crap.
yeah,
And
that's
then
awesome.
yeah, and then I'm like, well, have you heard of Sana Obruent? No, who are they? you know, okay, well, check this out. But a lot of the bands, especially in the dark ambient and those genres, they've all gotten in touch with me because they've found me through the collective, and I've actually got to know about their work through the collective, which is makes it even cool. So I mean, the collective is
Yeah,
not only for the gays, but for all the dark ambient, all the bands and stuff that do that. I mean, I've met a lot of them through there, or they met me through there, and that's the first thing they say. We met you through the collective, and we know
yeah.
what you're doing from the collective. You're Santa Open, so it's cool, man. It helps.
Yeah, no, and I really appreciate you doing that as well because I've only somewhat recently started to understand really the value of those kinds of those networks because you got stuff like your Facebook groups and those are kind of crap. Some of them are some of them are just like people are just like posting stuff but nobody really looks. But there are just like certain communities, and I think that's what you definitely have going on. There's like Raphael Pazea, I can't pronounce his
Yeah,
last name.
yeah,
Yeah, he does the unexplained sounds and all that, and like I just started learning like how important that is and how you know you making those personal connections, how it kind of creates more of a community than just some place to promote material. You know, it's like you're really trying to like build a foundation for people to discuss music.
Oh yeah, it's cool because like on the Shoegaze Collective pages, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still posting my Sana Obruent stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I new album here August is out, the Atloff. I'll put it right there. I'll pin it on the Shoegaze Collective page, and that's you can use it for anything you want in terms
Yeah.
of. But I mean, I post all my dark ambient stuff there. A lot of people have posted their dark, because I don't have any rules or limitations on posting.
Yeah.
One, I don't care. I'm not gonna, and like I said, I post my dark ambient stuff, and people love it. But that's just another outlet for me to get sent over and across, and then hopefully soon just do a couple of live shows. I'm working on it. I think the closest probably would be is San Francisco, maybe. I don't know. I've gotten offers, but we'll see. I'm sure it'll probably be me up there with a laptop, but I might have a couple guitarists just back me up anyway.
Yeah.
That way I can assemble everything. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I would just love to duplicate everything that I'm doing with just my guitar and stuff, which I could do anyway. But
Yeah.
I kind of want to make it an experience. If somebody goes to see, if I do a Sana Obruent show, I want the films behind it, the lights, just everything. If I'm going to do a song off of the Outlaw, I want you to feel like if you're in the mountains. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Not just going up and being like, oh, remember this one song? You just play it and then you get off. Like, you make it an immersive.
I want everybody to be submerged in it to make if you're going to hear a track from Prince of the Air, I want you to feel as if you're in a foyer, some old Victorian house with a ghost standing behind you. That's what I want.
Yeah. No, definitely. And that's something that I could be wrong. You may be able to point me to show me how naive I am, but I don't get the vibe that there's that much of a live scene for dark ambient music in the United States. At least where I am in Oregon, there's almost, there are very few like dark ambient exclusive shows that happen. It doesn't really seem to happen all that often. Like kind of deep immersive stuff. I don't see that almost ever around here.
Yeah, of course. Nah, it's not really. And a few places in San Francisco, they've put on some of these shows. I think even one or two of them were like, some ambient guys were playing like at a gallery, art gallery or something. But and I'm looking at their video of of a certain, I forgot the band, but they did a show at some art gallery and they're doing like some ambient stuff, and the place is packed.
Really?
It's packed. And I'm like, whoa, okay.
Interesting.
Well, very interesting. And I'm listening to their stuff and go, well, I'm my music's better than these guys. They're packing out this place. And I'm just like, and that's when a couple of people said, hey man, if you ever want to do a show and come up here, play guitar, do some of your tracks. If not, we'll play alongside you or get your computer or do something, man. This, but the venues are there, but it's just, I haven't contacted anybody yet, but I mean, it may happen, but if it does, man, I'll let you know.
I would love to see. I would love to see
so
that.
you can make it. Oh heck yeah, man, that'd be cool to meet, and you could check out some of the music. But yeah, man, I'll give you plenty of notice if it happens. Do I think it will? I'm pretty sure it might. So we'll
I hope so.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
I really do appreciate your time and
no worries.
Your focus,
man, thank you
and
for
all that.
Thank you. The parting word is, for going the way Alex did. Put this album out now. Do this interview, man.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Exactly.
Well, dude, all I can say, man, is thank you for taking the time. For the questions and just really good interview. I loved your questions, man. It was spot on, man. Perfect.
No, I really do appreciate your time. Thank you.